It's the first time I will do this in English, so bear with me, but the Holy Spirit is with me, so nothing can go wrong in this beautiful church. I'm going to tell you a story. We make a trip to the human brain, the processes when you make decisions. It's unbelievable. We make about 100 to 8,000 decisions per day. We are decision-making machines. And I'm going to tell you that when you are in high school or the university, nobody, or there's an exception in this room, told you what it means for you as an individual to make a decision. We make decisions based on, okay, goods or income or studies or going to get married or not, do I want to have children or not. But the impact of making that decision in the future is huge. So I wanted to know what impact does it make on me as an individual when I make a decision in my life to do something or to do not. The story I'm going to tell you when we make this trip through the human brain is based on two people. Two famous people who won the Nobel Prize for making decisions. One that fascinates me enorm is this man. Is he on the? No, not yet. Daniel Kahneman. This man won the Nobel Prize in 2002 for economy. But wait, this guy is a psychologist. Are you awake? A psychologist wins the Nobel Prize for economy. Something is going on here. This man said, when we make a decision, we are making this decision within two systems in our brain. Maybe you read something already about him. I say yes. It's fascinating. These two systems control the way I make a decision. So he said, well, we have the system one. It's just system one. And that's your unconscious mind. And why it's unconscious? Because there are no neurons connected to language. There is a sort of intuition, a feeling, but you cannot explain it. You cannot find a real word to explain that feeling. For example, when somebody is blind, with all respect, try to explain him the color yellow. How do you do that? Impossible. Somebody who's never been in love, who doesn't know that feeling, what it is, explain him or her what it is to be in love with one word. You're not going to succeed in that. So in our brain is a system that gives you a certain feeling, sensational from your body. Then the second system, he says, is the conscious system. And there are neurons with language. I can now, with system 2 is activating now, speak to you so you can understand. Interesting. But there's another guy, the second guy, and that is this guy. Richard Taylor. And watch it. He says the following thing. When you and I make a decision, the calculating, rational human does not exist. You got that? When making a decision, the rational, calculating human does not exist. That's the wake-up call. What's happening? He confirms the theory of Daniel Kahneman, that when you make a decision, the first system, system 1, is only based on a feeling. And after that, system 2 comes and tries to explain what system 1 already has done. So you don't make decision on rational things, you make decision on emotional things, feelings. The third person in this story is me, the small guy. These are the big guys. I live in Venlo, around the corner, so this is a home game for me. These three people are is my story based on. So my background is study economy. I did 2 years of economy, and then I went to the business administration because economy was too difficult for me, and business administration and marketing I like more. And at the same time, I studied psychology, and I became a specialist in the clinical psychology, sick people with emotional and behavioral problem. I started the social psychology because I wanted to know how people influence and each other and groups influence the individu and a group. And I did the neuropsychology because I also wanted to know what happens in the human brain before you decide, before you are happy, make a decision to whatever. So this is the 3 pillars of my story. When it's correct, we make 108,000 decisions per day. I got these 2 systems. And when you go to the College of Economy, they tell you this to me. They said, Hein, when people make a decision, we are rational. We think, logic, right? Before you decide to marry, you thought, I want to get married. Before you bought that car, you thought rationally, do I want that car? And when you think rationally, you explained it, logic, you know exactly what you want, because it's logic, right? And when you know exactly what you want, you're very consistent in doing that, because it's logic, you know what you want. That's the study economy. All these models, they put information in it and they shake and they can explain why humans behaved in the past and will behave in the future, right? You did the same, right? Who was ever in love? Was that logic? No, it was feeling. Nothing to do with logic. So when I went to the other side of the same university and later on, in the college room, professors, ladies, gentlemen, they say, no, we humans are not rational, we are emotional. Exit motivus, Latin for I come to the outside world with that what motivates me, gets me into move. And when you are an emotional being, you don't know what you want. You change all the time. So the first one you were in love with, is that the same person you are now with at this moment? No, because there was another feeling, and then you change partner. Or there was another feeling, then you change your job. There was another feeling, then you change your location, right? It's a feeling, and that is something psychology wants to know. And they say, okay, we are inconsistent. And when we are inconsistent, we are focusing on the unconscious. So economy focuses on the conscious mind, some words to explain human behavior. Psychology focuses on the unconscious mind. It's just a feeling. I don't know, it doesn't feel right, or it does feel wrong. Right? That's intuition. Who do you think is right, economy or psychology? Economy, left? No one? Oh, you're cool. Who says psychology is right? Hey, wow, I can stop, we can go home. You already know this. They are both right, of course. I can explain you, it's context-based. So I can activate system 1, context-based to activate system 2. How is this possible? I can explain that by looking at the brain, the human brain. So we have this brain stem. It's from the spine, goes it into the brain. That is a part of your brain that controls your behavior. So when I move, my brain stem is active. When my heart beats, my brain stem is active. When I got my body temperature, my brain stem is active. This is the oldest part of the brain, and is like a tree, the most important part of the brain. In my time, when I studied psychology, the professors say, oh, the brainstem, you can forget it, it's just stupid animals. Now they say it's the most important part of the brain. So this brainstem evolutions. And there came another layer, you see that's the B, that's a limbic system. And limbic is old Latin for some that captured in it. The word Limburg is also from the limbus. These two, behave and feeling, is system 1. What people feel is what they do. And what people do is because they feel it that way. Then you see there's another layer, the third layer, maybe you read already about it, is the neocortex. Neo is Greek for new. Cortex is layer. Suddenly in the evolution, a new layer above the limbic system came. The reason why is because of the eyes area. Before that time, just what happened, we felt good, we did it. Then what we did felt good. We didn't have to think about anything Because there were food, there was drinking, and if you want to have sex, you could pull her into the grave and you did it. You don't have to think. That was a joke, sorry for that. Then came the ice period. And suddenly, the food was gone. Suddenly, the water was frozen. And suddenly, we had to hide to protect ourselves because it was cold. And then when we had a team and we found our apples, we had to make sure that Jo didn't steal our apples. So I had to remember where I put my food. And also I had to plan the future from how are we going to do this the coming month. And this third layer, this neocortex, suddenly made it possible that there was a past, a present, and a future. Before that time, there was only a today, a here and a now. No past, no future. The future and the past is a concept of the human brain. It's not a reality. These are the two systems. So system 1 is brainstem, limbic system, and system 2 is the neocortex, where language is located. Are you agree with me? These two people got the Nobel Prize for it. I have a short video. I hope the sound is okay, because that's why I said this guy and me. Listen to a BBC documentary where 6 or 7 high professors from top university were asked the question to give the balance, the contrast between the unconscious and the conscious mind. Listen to them. Maybe you can agree with them. But maybe we can watch. You understand it? This is the conscious mind. This is the unconscious mind. So who's the captain of the ship of your body? The unconscious mind. But there are no words to describe it. It's just that feeling, that body sensation, that intuition. With all respect, in the Western culture, the focus on the conscious mind is too big. We should learn more about the unconscious mind. That's where your most information is located. Now he's out of rhythm. I don't know why he's doing that. Well, look closer to these two systems, and then I have a good, nice metaphor. When I was studying this, I was fascinated because of the capacity of both systems. When we look at system 1, is the unconscious mind, system 2 is the conscious mind. The unconscious mind is 500 million years old, about 500 million years old. The conscious mind, only 3 to 4 million years old. So the unconscious mind is sort of like an old gray man with a lot of wisdom, and your conscious mind is a little boy, little girl who wants to play and wants to fool around. That's the metaphor of these two systems. System 1 is your intuition, your motivation, your emotion. The word intuition is Old Latin for with the eyes closed and I look into the inside my inner world. That's intuere. Motivation is that what makes me move. And the emotion is the exit motivus. I come outside with that what makes me move. This system is the first reaction when you are in contact with a surrounding. When you see something, smell something, hear something, taste something, grab something, system 1, 120 milliseconds, bam! And then comes system 2. Oh, wait a minute, that is logic. Or this is the reason why, or this is the ratio. Most people make now the mistake, because both systems are very important. When I have system 1 that reacts, it makes mistakes. I need now system 2 to correct and optimize system 1. Because the logic thinking I do can explain why I react that emotion when I see my mother-in-law. And when I can explain that, my intuition goes with the knowledge and grows and grows and grows. So system 1 activates system 2, and system 2 corrects system 1. I cannot separate them. So when somebody says, oh, you are so rational, I say, yeah, I have to be rational to understand my emotions, to feed my intuition, to develop as a person. System 1 knows no resistance. When I'm training companies to sell products, I train them to activate system 1. Because when I activate system 1, you have no resistance. You say yes, because it feels good. System 2 knows resistance. Yes, but. Now you're going to think, do I need this product? What is the cost of this product? Is it efficiency? Whatever, blah, 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 blah. System 1 doesn't cost any energy. System 2 costs a lot of energy. I've been a clinical psychologist for 30 years. I did therapy with burnout people, depression people. These people live on system 2. 24/7. They cannot sleep. They cannot rest. System 2 has to rest. That's why we go to sleep. And system 1, the energy goes on and on because your heartbeat, your lungs, your liver, your brain is going on. You have no control about it. It just is doing it for you. And when you wake up, boop, system 2 is, oh, I'm here again, and the conscious mind is active again. And when you sleep, the unconscious mind is active. System 1 is what we do. System 2 is what we know and what we say. When you want to understand human behavior, you can listen to what they say. I did it for 30 years, but I don't believe you. I look what you do. Then I know who you are. Because what you say is not always right and in balance with what you do, right? Next week I stop drinking. Yeah. Oh. The 1st of January I go to lose 5 kilos. Yeah. No. System 1 is very fast. 130 milliseconds. Bam. System 2 is very slow. 300 milliseconds. That's interesting. System 1. 1.2 million bits processes information. System 2 is 60. And our educational Western culture is based on system 2. I have a nice metaphor for you to explain this number, this huge. System 1 processes 1.2 million bits per second. Somebody told me, I'm not a computer scientist, not at all, I always push the wrong button. But somebody said, the alphabet A, B, C, D is 5 bits, is that correct? Zeros and ones? Yes, say yes, and I can go on. When you divide 11.2 million by 5 is 2,240,000 letters. When I print 2,240,000 letters in a book, I got a book with 400 pages. Oh, sorry. Per second. Processes your system 1 information. That's huge. When I compare that with system 2, 60 bits divided by 5 is, you're smart people? 12, right? 3 words. All these people I was able to talk to and to listen to, I learned a lot, these patients. I asked them, after the session was ended, when you look back, making that decision to marry that man or that woman or to get children or not, was there not a feeling that says don't do it? Or do it, but you didn't do it? Or did do it? And they all said, yes, but I didn't listen to it. Because system 1 is very soft and whispers to you. And system 2 shouts and pushes system 1 away. And afterwards, oh, I knew it, but I didn't listen to it. I knew it, but I didn't act. I need both systems to pay attention to it. Logic is not the real reason we make a choice. So the secret is solved. That's how I make money. I had a lot of money because I solved the secret. That's also a joke, eh? Again, what people say is just what they know. You can read a book, you can follow a classroom, you can look to the television. Oh, I know something, and I give you an answer. But what people do is what they feel. You don't act the way you know it, you act the way it feels. And these two systems are the really reason for being in the situation and doing this behavior. So economy is right, and psychology is also right. The context is the starting point. For example, when I'm in the context and I see a beautiful woman or a beautiful man, and I want my target is a relationship, what system should I use? System 1, right? I'm not going to take my measure and the kilos and the height. No, it's just I'm in love. It's a feeling. But when I go to buy a house, I want to know the cost. I want to know my income. I know the interest rates. What system do I use? System 2. But when I'm in the house and I have this beautiful picture of that house with a garden and a swimming pool and these doors are open wide, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms. Oh, I want that. I can pay for it. And I come in that house, and all the elements are there, and I'm there, and then it feels not good. People are going to buy that house. There are people who buy that house. System 2 is right. System 1 is wrong. And then you come in a complete different house. No 3 bathrooms, no 3 bedrooms, no garden, no opening doors, no terrace. And you come into that house, and then it feels, oh yeah, at home. That's system 1. It gives in a second gives the answer. Do you want to do an experiment with me? Yeah? You know the volume knob 10? When I ask you to do at volume 8, say yes. I say 3, 2, 1, and then at volume 8 you say yes. You going to do that? This is church, they're saying here, this is no problem. So 3, 2, 1? Yes. That's 4. 3, 2, 1? Yes. Come on, 3, 2, 1? Yes. That's the one. Because I want to do an experiment to let you feel what it is when these two systems are active. So my question to you is, say the color you see, not the word that is written in the volume 8. Right? I'm the conductor, so I give the 1, 2, 3, and then we go volume 8. And if you don't want to do it, it's okay. We go to do this. Right? Are you ready? Okay. 3, 2, 1, red. Come on. Stop. Again. So the question is, say the color you see, not the word that is written. I'm the conductor at volume 8, and volume 8 is 1, 2, 3? Yes. Oh, that's 2. 1, 2, 3, come on! Yes. Oh, we're grown-ups, don't be shy. That's a nice experiment. Again, say the color you see, not the word that's written. I'm the conductor, 3, 2, 1, and then 8. Come on, ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1, red! Come on! Come on! Yes! 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 Thank you. I'm going to do it again. Same volume, same motivation, same expression. You ready? No? That's system 2, resistance. I say 3, 2, 1. I'm the conductor, and all volume 8. Let's go. 3, 2, 1, go! Thank you for cooperating. Yeah. This is the proof that we have two systems. Have you noticed that the first and the second were different in the rhythm and the way it went? Watch it. When I watch system 1 looks and it sees red. System 2 analyzes RED, and system 1 isn't balanced with system 2, we go smooth through this experiment. 110 people at the same rhythm. I did this with 500 people at the same rhythm. But when I conflict these two systems, you look, you see white. System 2 analyzes RED, and that's the conflict of a making decision which you later on regret. This is the proof of the two systems. When you make a decision, be sure, next time, please, to make that these two systems are in balance. It feels good, and I know what I'm doing. Then psychology has no reason, or therapy has no reason anymore, medical has no reason anymore, because you are in balance. If you study economy, always go for the balance, right? If you start studying a medical student, it's the balance between body and mind, the balance between the organs. If you study psychology, it's the balance between the thinking and the emotions and the behavior. We make decisions in the hope that we create the perfect balance. But our system in education is focused on system 2. This is just a little part of course, the whole story about the conscious and the unconscious mind. How many minutes do I have still left?
Almost 15.
Yeah?
Okay. 15.
Okay. Perfect. I'm going to give you the building blocks of system 1. 120 milliseconds, bam. You see something, system 1 is active. So I developed a behavioral model where you can explain and influence people on behaving in a certain context. The first oval is 1, this is system 1, is left on the left one, the context. Maybe you remember the old Latin, context is contextere in the Latin. Con is together, texture is like this, and is intertwined into one experience. But I discovered 5 building blocks that make that one context. If you know the building blocks of the context, you can exactly pinpoint an effect in these 5 building blocks to create certain behavior in the context. You know which 5 building blocks a context is built up? Most don't know, no. That's fascinating, eh? All the time you have lived, these 5 building blocks influenced your behavior without knowing it. You should know that. Here they are. Physics, there's a sound, there's a smell, there's a color, there's a temperature. When I push the button on physics, I change your behavior. When the temperature is going down, -10, you're going to behave different than +21 degrees. When the sound is 10 and plus, you're going to behave different than when it's silence. When it smells good, you're going to behave different than when it stinks. So when I train companies to influence behavior in a certain context, the first building block is the physics, to change the physics. One example, the NS, the train company, had a big problem in Amsterdam because all these people who went from the satellite villages around Amsterdam in the train to go celebrating on the Saturday night. So when they went home at 3 o'clock, drunk, the mother stayed at the train station. I said, simple. You know what we did? In the train itself, we pumped up the temperature, and they were drunk, they came and they were aggressive, and we pumped the temperature to 24 degrees. When you are drunk and sit in a train station and it's 24 degrees, it takes you a few seconds to 1 million less on damaging just by raising temperature. And again, go on and go on and go on. The second building blocks of the context is the material. Look around. Wood, steel, marmor makes the context. In Kessel, some little village here in the south of the Netherlands, is a beautiful castle. It was burned in the 1940s because of the war and the Germans exploded it. They built it again with the old elements, 400 BC, and the new elements. This castle in Kessel is place first where people want to get married. Why? Because of the materials. The third building block is the statistics, the numbers, the kilos you weigh, the high you are, the income you have, the amount of relationships, and whatever makes the context. The people who are in here now makes the contact. The material, the temperature makes the contact. Then the social, the people around you, your colleagues, friends, partner, whatever. And the most fundamental is the culture, the Western culture, African culture, Asian culture, Australian culture, influence your behavior and is a building block of the context. When I make changes in these 5, I influence your behavior. The second element, you see, the second oval, is the most important because I made a little jump. When there is a temperature, when there is a sound, when there are materials, when you have this kilo or this height or this income, when these people are around you, or when you are in the Dutch culture, it says absolutely nothing. But in these 5 elements, 100 words are intertwined. 100 words are intertwined, and then the context becomes a value, motivates you, gives you that meaningful. When I sell products or train people, for example, I don't sell a product like a beer or a car. What you sell is one of these 100 words. You know Freddie Heineken, the one who made the beer, the pills? He said in an interview, I don't sell pills, I don't sell beer, I sell coziness. When you buy a car, you don't buy a car, you buy speed, you buy status. That's what you buy. When you buy a washing machine, you don't buy the washing machine, you buy something else. We are, in System 1, searching for these words. So there are 3 categories, I show them later on at last, universal, situational, and personal. So there are 5 value words all over the world. There are specific value words per situation. For example, when you're in your job, you have other value words than you are with your friends on holiday, or when you are a part of the driving in the traffic. And then you have your personal value words. It's only for you. These words, when you feel them, activate them in the context, then the emotions come. So motivation is for the emotion, motivus, and then exit motivus. When your emotions come, it is information about the situation where your value words are satisfied or not. For example, when one of your value words, freedom, is very important, and you are in a context with these 5 building blocks and you feel freedom, then the emotion joy and enthusiasm comes up. But when freedom is very important for you, but you don't get freedom, but you got the opposite, you are captured, then the emotion fear, sadness, aggression, and disgust coming up. When you don't know yet what value words is for you important or is playing in the situation, you have the emotion, it's not there, orientation emotions, like verbazing is in Dutch, I don't know in the English. Surprise, something like that. So when I play with these words in a certain context, I manipulate you, I activate your emotions by these words. When you are emotional, because you have this value well satisfied or not, goes into your direct temperament. Your temperament with your emotion makes the behavior. in that context. And because you and I are doing for 95% every day the same, I can exactly predict what you are going to do in a certain context, and that is your character. There's no economist that can predict the stock market of tomorrow. But the psychologists can predict what you're going to do tomorrow for 95% because you are going to be in that same rhythm of your character. When you get up, you set coffee, you go to coffee or the toilet, you shave, you go to the shower, you go to the car, you go to the office, first thing you go to the toilet or you activate your computer. Watch out for tomorrow that 95 what you do is exactly every day the same. But wait, when I change the motivation words, I change your emotions, I change your behavior. Look at this, the last thing I will explain. Let's look at these 5 universal motivation words. Where you go worldwide, in Africa, Asia, or in United States or Europe, these 5 words, take them with you and you influence every human on this planet. 5. You have a guess? What do you think? Security, yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the 5. Okay, yeah, sorry? No, it's not. I understand. This is love is fantastic. But love is based on 3 of these words. Let's look at them. Freedom is the most important motivation word there is. When people do not feel free, the emotion aggression, fear, and sadness and disgust come up. Remember the Corona time? What happened? We lost our freedom, right? And what happened to people? They got scared. They got sad. They feel disgust. The second word is indeed safetyness. What happened with Corona? We didn't feel safe anymore. So the joy was gone, the enthusiasm was gone. People were sad, were angry, were disappointed, were depressed, had a burnout. The third one is healthness. The fourth one is intimacy. What happened to Corona? We were not healthy, we were sick. What happened with Corona? We were not allowed to go to our parents, to our friends. We were not allowed to hug. We had to stay 1.5 meters on the distance, right? People got into trouble, emotional, because they couldn't hug anymore. They couldn't go to parties anymore. They couldn't go to the bar anymore. They couldn't go to a holiday anymore. And the last one is flexibility. Everybody wants this in life, wants to feel free. And when you feel free, you're happy. And you are enthusiastic because you want more. When you feel safety in your relationship, in your work, you are happy. When you feel healthy, you are happy. When you feel that intimacy, that social creature next to you is an animal, a plant, or a human being, you feel happy. And when you're surrounded by people with a flexible mind, an open mind, you feel happy. But the problems come when the opposites appears in your life, in these 5 building blocks of the context. I don't know if it's the right word, but there's no freedom, there's captivity, dire straits. There's no safetyness, but you are threatened. There's no health, but diseased. There's no intimacy, but you are neglected. There's no flexibility, but rigidity. Then life becomes a problem. It's not about the context, it's about these 100 words. When you find these 100 words, one of these 100 words, a couple of these 100 words, in the context of your work, your relationship, your hobbies, your country, your house, you are going to be very happy. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Hein, for your presentation and all your information and secrets about the mind. But before we want to thank you, perhaps there are some questions from the audience. I don't know, somebody has a...
All happy people again, no? They're all happy. Yeah?
Okay.
No?
How does come the flexibility word with
How does the flexibility comes together with 95% of the day you're doing the same? So that there just seems to be no flexibility in situational behavior.
It feels like flexibility. Again, that's a good question. So we have this oval 10, there you see the behavior, you act. But when you are permitted to do that, because of your parents allowed you to, or your partner, it feels like flexible. Yeah? It is a rhythm, and people are very used to their rhythm, and then they feel free and flexible. Try to you have a partner? Does he or she has a rhythm at the morning? Break it. You will see what happens. She's going to do like this. Well, I can talk about more, but it's time. It's a very interesting question, yeah.
You mentioned healthiness at
Yeah.
point 3.
Yeah, exactly.
Why I got the feeling that so few people actually strive for that. So actually it's hard that people like eat healthy, do sports.
Yeah.
Are they ignoring it, or is that something that...
That's a very good question. The problem with healthiness, the real word comes from the sexist word, Old English, gesund. G-I-S-U-N-D. And what it means functional behavior. So my mother, for example, is 94. She smells 1 packet cigarettes a day. She went to the lung doctor years and years ago, and the doctor said, "Oh, I'm glad you don't smoke." Serious. Health is a very mysterious thing. You can have the body who's health and the mind who's health. When you are in India, for example, and you have hallucinations, you're a secret guy, you are a high level. The same symptoms in the Western culture as in India, you are schizophrenic and have a psychose. So healthiness is cultural connected. It's a big mistake. Nobody knows what health is. We know what sickness is, but nobody knows what health is. So that's a challenge for scientists and philosophers to explain us. Yeah. We can have a big beer together and then we talk about this. That's fantastic. See you next time. Thank you.